All opinions are those of the participants making them and are not an endorsement of any position, program, religion, or political affiliation. DFG's Corner is for information, observations, and entertainment. I ask that you like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Today, yes, like, they are in a sense privileged, but they realize like, okay, there's only certain things that I'm going to do. There's a limit. So it's almost like, yes, she could give us, but what are we going to do in order to get that? Because we know she may not, or does not, I'm going to tell them, like I tell you, it's like those conversations. I just make this look easy, and this is what I need you to do. So, and to me, if you don't do it, you're going to suffer the consequence. Like, I purposely can and just don't, just because I need for them to feel like what it's like to want and to have to figure out a way on their own.
Let me explain something to you. When I try to raise all three of my kids the same way. Unfortunately, they all took the same learning in a different way.
Right.
But one of them was I tried not to enable them when it came to the point where they needed to learn how to be an adult. My oldest at one point decided he was going to move out and move with his friends to another city 2 hours away with no car.
Right.
He got a job at the BMW plant as a temp, but he was still working there. So him and two other guys, they were roommates, and they were giving the money to one of the roommates to make sure he paid the rent. Well, they later found out when they came home, because they worked night shift. When they came home the next morning, their stuff was put on the street. They didn't realize that the roommate wasn't paying the bills like he was supposed to. So instead of me saying, well, son, come on home, I told him, I said, well, where are you sleeping? He said, I'm sleeping in my other roommate's, the truck. We're sleeping in the truck together. I said, oh, son, now normally somebody would have said, son, come on home. I told myself, well, what you need to do is go to the truck stop and wash up there. And I said, stay on the dollar menu at the McDonald's.
Yeah.
He is 30. How old is my son, Apple? 34? 30, 33, 34. I think he's 33. I lost track.
He'll be 35 in June.
Okay. So he's 34. He built his own home. So promise you, he refuses to be homeless ever again. Same thing with my youngest son. He refuses to have to live under someone else's roof and follow their rules. He got his house built too, and he's 32, 1 or 2. Like I said, I'm sorry, I forget. I just don't care anymore how old they are.
32. He will be 33 in October.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Get mine. They're not even that old, so.
Yeah. So, but you understand what I'm saying? I had to. It hurt that I wanted to say, son, come home, but I couldn't. Now, what happened is he did come home, but he kind of slid in. I didn't tell him to come home. He just kind of slid in and just never left until he was able to get back on his feet. And I never kicked him out, as I don't think I would do that. But it still taught him a lesson, and it taught him how to hustle. So now he has several different streams of income, as well as my oldest has several different streams of income. They have different crafts. The oldest know how to plumb. Along with him being an engineer, he does plumbing, and he also fixes cars, and he puts tint on cars. So he have different, financial revenues to go back. So he doesn't have to ask anybody for anything. Same thing with the youngest son. He owns his own barbershop. He has the esthetician thing. He does the little eyebrows and the lip fillers and stuff, as well as a photographer and a DJ. And now he's a promoter. So he has different streams of income. So he doesn't have to ask anybody. Right. They had to learn to struggle. Tyler Perry did the same thing. He was homeless. Look where he is at now, because he learned that he didn't want to be that way anymore. So he figured it out. We as parents have to allow our children to fall on their terms and say, I'm not going to pick you back up. You're going to have to learn to stand up on your own. Now, I'm here to embrace you. If you feel that you need to come back home, I'm not going to tell you to come back home, but if you ask me to come back home, I may let you. But I can't say, well, son, come on back home as a safe haven. So when they realize it's a safe haven, they know they can always come back to mama. And so they can just screw up anytime because they know they have their safe haven. No. You know, you have to realize sometimes when they ask you for money and they feel that they too good to do something else to earn that money, you say, well, you're just going to be broke or you're just going to be without. It's going to teach them, as you telling them no, it's going to teach them to say, okay, I'm tired of her saying no. Let me go and find something to do. Let me go, make this happen. I know we as parents, especially as women, us mothers tend to nourish what's the word I'm looking for?
Nurture.
Yeah, we are nourishers and we want to protect them. No, we're gonna have to push them out their nest and let them fly. Does anybody disagree with what I said?
Absolutely not. You are correct in that.
Don't agree at all. Yep.
You have to. I kind of did it when I had my oldest son. I was a single mother. When I had my oldest son, I was living with my aunt, and my aunt said, when you need to go down to this welfare, you need to go apply. You need to go down to this housing and try to find your place to live because you can't live here. She pushed me out the nest, and I've been striving in a sense. I have not gone back home in years. Been on my own ever since. But because she did not allow me to be a baby in a sense or stay under her wing, she told me I had to go and fly. We as parents have to let our children fall and make their mistakes. Granted, we need to be a testimony of our mistakes so they don't make the same ones, but they need to make their own mistakes.
You're right, Chocolate Pearl, because I just said this. My daughters watched me. They saw me. I was a single parent. They watched me struggle, and I did for all I could for them. But now the separation with me living here in Virginia and they are in Georgia, they grew up, especially that youngest one. So now they don't call me as much asking for money. They figuring it out because like the youngest one got to get another place to stay because of issues where she's at now. So she'll ask me for my opinion, but she's advocating for herself, looking for another place to live. Now that oldest one, wow, she is a medical tech, and she had a goal. She went and got a second job working at a warehouse Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This girl worked 7 days a week. She wanted to pay her car off early. She just moved into a house when I went home for Christmas, and she's doing it. And I could not be so proud of my daughters because at one point, they were like, mama, mama, mama. Well, you're grown now. Mama's not in the same state you are. Now you got to figure it out. So yeah, they doing the work.
Not once, but twice. A transition spokeswoman called the post story.
Thank y'all. I appreciate that. I just wanted to know because we have the tendency of give to our children, but we don't want to because we don't want them to fall. Only thing you could do is throw that pillow out there and pray that they land on it. And if they don't, oh well.
Right. And I had that fear, with me being away from them for the first time ever, moving here in 2022, I had that fear because I've never been away from my daughters. But now it's starting to level out. So I'm feeling that sense of comfort, and they are too.
I think it's a balance for me because I struggle with it, but because I can admit that I was so spoiled and in a sense over nurtured and pampered myself, like I still struggle with I'm that mom, like I'm gonna wash your when I wash, I'm gonna wash your clothes and fold your clothes. And yes, I get it, you're 22 and 23, but if you come, but I mean, I don't necessarily teach you how to cook, but my mom didn't necessarily make me cook either. So on some level, I feel like, and I always say, you know, I turned out perfectly fine and independent. So I definitely struggle with the balance of it all. But I feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm definitely a nurturer. I'm gonna take care of, but I definitely try to put those boundaries in. I might not necessarily make you per se have to take care of yourself in that particular way, but I feel like in other ways, and I feel like you can only, sometimes it's based on your own experience that makes it tricky.
But you also got to realize that raising children today is totally different than when we were growing up, as well as the past with our parents. So each generation has a different way of learning. And I think I said this before, this generation is not afraid of anything, but offended by everything. So we have to be careful of pampering our children or babying our children, because they're not afraid to tell you no for what they stand for, but they'll be offended when you stand for what you stand for. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I think it just depends on their experiences. I was very like intentional when my girls were young, so I definitely tried to like make sure they had exposure to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different things, a lot of different ways of doing things. So I think that like innately set them up to see that you're like they know that your worst day is somebody else's best day. And they've kind of had the gamut of experiences just growing up, because I was definitely like letting them, I felt like the key living in America was more so being aware of everyone around you and all the different situations around you. So I feel like they've had the gamut of experiences to where they can recognize and be and realize their own privileges and have that sympathy and apathy and ability to feel for others. So, and I think that's because of how I kind of uniquely engage them in the world. So it's like a part of them. But I don't think everyone does that. So it can be difficult.
I thank everybody for their response.
Say it again.
I said, I thank everybody for their response.
Oh, you're welcome.
Back to you, DJF. DFG, I mean.
Yeah, DJF. Okay, I got you. Hey, I want to thank everyone who came along. We went a little over today, but it was definitely worth it. I want to thank everybody out there in Facebook land, in YouTube land, and in Instagram land. I want to thank each and every one of y'all, my co-hosts, my panel, for coming on and coming deep conversation. Hopefully you out there learned something or just got an understanding and knowing that you're not alone in your battles, that people have similar battles. And I'm going to close it out today. I'm going to say,
before you do,
go ahead.
Do y'all see this? I don't think y'all can.
No.
This is in Pensacola, Florida.
What is that? I can't see it.
It's snow. And it looks like at least 3 inches.
Oh, wow.
Pensacola, Florida. Dab's over here saying we need to go to Pensacola so we can get the snow.
Yeah, my Aunt Marlene in Texas sent a video of her Houston, her patio and her pool, and it's all snow. So the world is all the way. Huh?
Where's this at?
Houston, and you know they don't get Houston.
Houston is snow.
Oh yeah, they get snow.
They get snow.
Not in Houston, not north. I don't know the last time they've had snow.
Last time they had snow, they had a lot.
Well,
I got cousins.
Pray for Florida, because we're not used to that. I'm sorry. Get back to you.
Okay, since it's my turn now, I can actually talk. Which I want to thank, like I said, I want to thank everybody out there, and Miss Kim, Big Al, Miss Dream, everybody else. I want to thank y'all for coming on Jackie, I know she gone, and y'all just bear with us. Next Tuesday, we're gonna have another show. I'm gonna try to get a subject out. If you have anything, you can check out my email on through my socials, and I do have a link tree. So if you have link tree, you can know where all my socials and know where to find me. And I'm gonna close it out by saying my favorite saying: "Never make love by the garden gate. Though love is blind, the neighbors ain't." Peace out.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching. This is the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce, saying, never make love by the garden gate, though love is blind, the neighbors ain't.